Are we live? Are we live? We are live. I had some trouble getting on today, YouTube. Um, so hopefully this is okay. We're live. Hey everybody. It is Wednesday, July 8th. Um, how's everybody doing? If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Elle. I am the host of the Speaking Tongues podcast, the podcast where we discuss language and culture from all over the world. And we're talking about World Cup because it is the ultimate celebration of linguistic and cultural diversity. Um, Today, we had no games. There were no games on today. Um, I didn't know what to do with myself. What did you guys do? What did you do with this first day in over how many days has it been? Almost 30 days of games. And this was the first day with no games. How did you guys how'd you make it through the day? Let me know. It's weird. I was looking at the calendar. I was looking at the calendar every couple but every hour thinking, when is the game gonna start? When is the game gonna start? Um and it was a struggle today. I'm definitely missing the football, which does not bode well. There are only 7 games left in this tournament. Only 7 games left, and then we say goodbye to the World Cup this year. But let me know in the chat. Let me know if you're watching on the replay. What did you do on your first day, on this first day with no game? Did you actually get anything done today? Um, were you productive? Hopefully you were productive. So this first thing I want to say, just putting my eyeglass case over here. First thing I want to say is that we have a new episode of the podcast out this week. And I'm so excited because this is the first time we're talking about Trinidadian Creole English, with Janine Lutchman, and she is an educator. She is an educator. She's a writer, and she is located in Trinidad and Tobago. And we were talking about Trinidadian Creole English and Mandarin Chinese because she's a Chinese teacher. So that was so exciting having that discussion with her. That episode is out this week. It is on up here on the YouTube channel. So please make sure to watch it. Give it a thumbs up. uh, I'm saying watch it, but it's audio only. So give it a listen, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the episode. Let us know what you think of the episode, me and my guests. We'd love to hear your feedback. But it's so exciting talking about a Caribbean Creole. Um, Feels close to home, feels really great to talk about that. And this is the first time we're talking about Creole English and Creole as it is spoken in Trinidad. We're talking about Trinidadian culture, Trinidadian food. We're talking about learning Chinese and teaching Chinese. So this is a really fun episode, and I would love for you guys to check it out when you get a chance. Um, so yeah, as I said, there's no games on today. The games, I believe, start again tomorrow. Of course, I don't have the schedule in front of me. I usually do, but today I don't. But I can tell you who is up next. The 8 teams that are still in the tournament: France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium, Norway, England, and Switzerland, and Argentina. Before we even talk about that, let's talk about what we haven't spoken about since the last time you saw me. USA played Belgium. And I think in the last live, I was talking about that red card, that controversial red card, and what we thought was going to happen with that match. I don't think anyone could have predicted that Belgium would have scored 4 goals on the US to the US's 1 goal. And Belgium had a good time eliminating the United States and I saw what the Belgian Football Federation posted and on Twitter. I think it was on Twitter, X, and you saw clips of them doing their YMCA dance in the end, in the in the change room after the game. So Belgium had a good time eliminating the U.S. and that opens up, especially here in the U.S., a lot of talk about what went wrong with the U.S. team. Um, a lot of people are giving their think pieces, and the consensus on that seems to be that the U.S. doesn't really foster the kind of growth for the men's national team in order to compete with, these top 10, top 20 teams in the world. Let me know, what do you think about that? I feel like that's a conversation we've been talking about and having for a long time here in the U.S., and a lot of players and former players have been talking about the way that talent isn't really nurtured in the U.S. the same that it is in other countries, and there's really not a lot of accessibility for young players and boys to grow into men who play professional football in this country. Is really cost prohibitive for a lot of families and for a lot of players in the US. That's what I've been hearing. So if you have any thoughts, please weigh in. If you played youth soccer, if you're a man who played youth soccer, what was your experience like? Let us know, because I don't know anybody who's played the game in that way, and we can always talk about that more another time, because I know it's quite a controversial topic. We saw Portugal. We saw Portugal lose to Spain. We saw Spain win and eliminate Portugal. And a lot of people are talking about that one, obviously, because Cristiano Ronaldo, and this is his last World Cup. This is his retirement. He is 41 years old, and he is moving on with his life without having ever won a World Cup. Surprisingly, I haven't heard a lot of conversation about that as much as I thought that I would. I don't know what people are really thinking about it. It kind of seemed like there was a little bit of talk about it, and then I haven't seen people still talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. I did see an interview with him after the game where he spoke in Portuguese. I saw where he spoke, I think I saw him speaking in English, or maybe it was Spanish, about just making peace with it. And he's ready to go. He's ready to go on with his life. And I know he has a family. I know he has a lot of kids. I don't know if he got married yet, but I know he was engaged. So maybe that'll be the next step, planning a wedding or finally getting married. Because I know they've been engaged for a long time. So he seems to have made peace with it. And I think that's a very mature decision on his part. But what do you guys think? Are there any Portugal fans out there? Are there any Cristiano fans out there? What do you think of his last game? What do you think of him leaving the sport without having won a World Cup? Do you think that game should have gone differently? Tell me some of your thoughts, and what do you think about Cristiano? He's such a big figure in global football. So this is going to be a change, not only for the Portuguese team, but also for those of us who watch international sports, and just seeing how the dynamic is going to change without him being part of the conversation. Another upset, Brazil lost to Norway. And there's a lot of think pieces about that too, which is really interesting. And that game, I got a kick out of it because it was here in New York. It was here in New Jersey. Okay. It was physically in New Jersey, whatever. And all the Brazil greats were there. Bebeto, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Cafu. I think Kaká was there. Roberto Carlos was there. Like practically the whole lineup was there. And that game kind of fell to pieces. We saw Neymar, another one who is ending his time in international play. I'm saying this was an upset because I think a lot of people, Brazil is still Brazil. Brazil is still 5-time champion. Brazil, and people always expect them to win. I think Brazilians expect the Brazilian team to win and bring home the World Cup. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And there's a lot of thought about it now, about the way that Brazil has been playing, a lot of the way that their younger players have been showing up to this tournament after maybe playing in Europe and playing outside of Brazil. I've seen a lot of commentary about the way that Brazil is playing is not that creative samba football that they were known for such a long time, and kind of the reactions to that. Rivaldo was also there, love him. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of thought about that, and kind of what I said last time, you know, is asking the question: is it unfair to really compare eras in football? Because if you had an era where the team was unstoppable and it was this monumental dream team, is it fair to the current players, the Vinny Jr. and the Neymars? Is it fair to compare them to Ronaldinho? Like, you can't compare him to anybody, in my opinion, to Ronaldo, to Cafu. Is it fair? I know that they've got a lot of work ahead of them if they're going to go forward and look competitive for another World Cup. In my opinion, as someone who's been watching Brazil for almost 30 years, they didn't really look competitive in this World Cup. And I think that, don't get mad at me, but I think that they were very lucky to get as far as they did. I think Norway's been playing really well, and I think Holland has been playing really well. I have not been following the Premier League like I used to, so I am not really that familiar with him at Manchester City. But this is more or less my introduction to him, and I think that he looks great. And Norway has been playing really, really well, so they're definitely a team to watch. They're a team to look forward to. If you're someone who supports Brazil and you're kind of flabbergasted that Brazil has been eliminated, let me know your thoughts. What did you think of their showing here in this year's World Cup? And did you think that they should have won that game? I would love to know. Sambaza's here. How are you, Sambaza? It's good to see you. We're just catching up. We're just catching up on the last couple of days because I haven't been around. Mexico lost to England. I didn't expect that to happen because I was expecting the Azteca Magic to take over. And that was a really intense game. That was a very intense game. England scored 2 goals pretty quickly, back to back. It was a rain delay, and it was like a thunderstorm, and it was crazy. But I was not prepared for England to win that game. I was really, really shocked. I know the England fans are happy. I know there was a lot of talk about England playing at that altitude also. So that was another thing that was really surprising to me. I thought Mexico was going to take it, but the hosts of this competition dropped like flies because Canada went out first, and then Mexico, and then the U.S., or maybe the U.S. and then Mexico. I don't remember the order. I think it was the U.S. and then Mexico. I don't remember. But they lost. So all the hosts are out of the World Cup right now, and England is going forward. England plays Norway next. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens because the England team, I'm not really one to root for England, but, I think that they've been playing pretty well. So we'll see. We'll see. What are you saying, Sambaza? Brazil were a good team, but it's a build up to the next tournament. We'll see. Do you know that penalty that Brazil took, I read that it was the first time Brazil missed a penalty in like 40 years. Like, can you imagine this guy going home after missing a penalty? He's probably going to be haunted for the rest of his life. That's for sure. Because that's a legacy. That's a legacy team. But we have to think about the word legacy and what that means going forward for certain teams. Speaking of the phrase legacy, something that's been kind of bothering me is I really am so sick of hearing the term "the last dance." I might be alone on this. I might be all out on a limb by myself. I'm really tired of hearing that phrase, the last dance. Cristiano's last dance, Messi's last dance, Ochoa's last dance, Modric's last dance, Neymar's last dance. We need to find another phrase. Now. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Retire that phrase, please. Please. I just wanted to throw that in there. Yesterday's games were crazy. And I think, speaking of last dance, what's his name? Salah. Was that his last dance? Was that his last dance? I'm not going to say that phrase anymore. Speaking of yesterday's games, what are you saying, Sambaza? Argentina got through because of advertising and marketing ratings. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I have hung out with them for 2 weekend games, and they're a fandom. About to hang out with them. Who'd you hang out with over the weekend? For two, who's the fan? In Mexico? Egypt. Me too. Last showing, perhaps. Last showing sounds like the last movie that's being played before the movie theater closes for the night. Let's continue. Let's keep working on that. But we're getting there. We're getting close. But I'm glad I'm not alone in hating that phrase, last dance. It's over. I don't want to hear it again unless we're talking about Donna Summer. Unless we're about to break into a disco top 10 hit. I don't want to hear it. Yesterday, I didn't watch a game yesterday. I was with my family yesterday. So I was listening to games passively on the radio. Argentina played Egypt. And I'm just going to say it. Egypt was robbed. You're saying Argentina fans are for real. You've been hanging out with Argentina fans for 2 weekends. Okay. All right. How was that? What are they like down in Texas? I think Egypt was robbed. I'm saying that with my whole chest. Listen, if you are from Argentina, if you are Argentinian, if you hold an Argentine passport, if you were born in Argentina, if your mother, father, grandparent, whomever is Argentina, sit this one out because I'm not talking to you. I am talking to everybody else who watched that game and everybody else who does not have to root for Argentina because we're not from there. Egypt was robbed. In my opinion, that goal should have stayed. Let them score the third goal. Let Argentina have their 3 goals because we were so close to the end of the game anyway that we could have just gone into extra time. And that could have been a decider. We could have had an extra 30 minutes to decide another goal and potentially go to penalties if we had to. That was such a controversial call in a tournament full of controversial calls. And each one seems worse than the last because we were all outraged about Croatia versus Portugal. There was another one that we were extremely outraged about. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It's just like a series of outrage that we've felt. And each call seems to get worse and worse and worse. And Egypt, that wasn't fair. And I think fairness is a point. I think fairness is the point. I think if you can look at that play that's controversial and you can admit to yourself, they made the wrong decision. Even if you are a fan of Argentina, you can still admit that was the wrong decision. You can still admit that VAR is not necessary for that. I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about VAR, and I feel like, this is a human game. It's full of mistakes. It's human. It's a very human game. It's a contact sport. It's a human game. But to go back to a machine to tell you that this is not the right call. I don't know. I think it's being abused. What do you guys think? What do you think about the use of VAR in this tournament? I think it's been used. I think it's been abused. Actually, I think it's been abused, and I don't think that. I wish I'd seen it with my own eyes. That was one of those games I needed to see with my own eyes. I was listening to it on the radio, unfortunately, and I was with my mom, and my mom was asking me, why do people not like Messi? Why don't people like Messi? Why don't people like Argentina? I'm like, I don't have time to explain this. I don't know where to even begin to explain to her what people think about this. Egypt was robbed. That third goal had them shell-shocked. They knew it was done. They did. They knew it was done. And this is Hand of God reenacted. This time it's Messi who gets the most of it. Referee, listen. And did you hear that the referee team for France-Morocco is all Argentine? I saw somebody react to that and basically say, at this point in the tournament, nobody's game should be refereed by anybody who's representing any of the teams that are in it. So basically, like, there shouldn't be no French, no Moroccan, no Norwegian, no English, etc. referees in the rest of the games. They're gonna have to do something and figure something out, because I haven't seen too many people who are not Argentine not complain about this. And you know, I don't think it's just this just feels excessive to me. This just feels excessive. VAR should have clear rules of when it should be used. The referee from Mexico, UK used it efficiently like it was supposed to, and no one is complaining about no one's complaining about Mexico losing. I haven't heard a single complaint about Mexico losing. You're right. You're 100% right about that. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts. About this. And I'm trying really hard to not put my tinfoil hat on with this and talking about conspiracies, because conspiracy, I think that's a big word. Favoritism, I definitely think that favoritism is there. And it's not right. I think Argentina has had a really easy path, more or less, with the rankings of the teams that they've played so far. And I'm sure that plays into it as well. But I don't know. And the tournament is still not over. So we don't know what is to come of it. I am very proud of Egypt, though, as I was proud of Cabo Verde for pushing a team like Argentina as far as they could, because you saw that team when they were done, and Argentina was like not expecting to have to play that hard. These teams gave them everything they had. And I'm very proud of them for doing that. And it's not them, it's the refs. And that game was having a lot of tempers, as you know. Well, yeah, there were some hot tempers in that game on both sides of that. Switzerland, Colombia I didn't see that game either, and I actually caught it on the radio. I saw the very last penalty kicks that were taken. I was standing outside of a restaurant looking, because I saw they had the game playing in the window, and I just stood outside there like a street urchin, watching the game winding down before I got on the subway to come home yesterday. So I tried to kind of understand what was going on with Colombia, because it seemed like they were the favorite to win in that game. And, you know, Switzerland's been playing well. Again, I'm sad to say, I know I've watched their games, but I don't remember watching their games. But I will be watching versus Argentina. You know why. So next up, we're down to the last 8 teams. We have France is playing Morocco. Spain is playing Belgium. England is playing Norway, and Argentina is playing Switzerland. And then we are heading into the final and the third place match after that. So that's gonna be, we're winding down. We're getting to the end of the road. What are you guys feeling about the next few matchups? Any predictions? Always happy to hear predictions. Let me have a look at the chat. Argentina seems to be easy because of the upsets along the way. If you look at it, Germany, Netherlands are out. Cabo Verde weren't expected to make it through, so they messed up the balance. I would agree with that. I don't think people expected Cabo Verde to play as well as they did. And that's why they won all of our hearts, because they fought like crazy and they played so well. They played so well. They left everything on the field. They gave it all that they could. And we were sad to see them go. And Germany, Netherlands, no one expected that. But to your point, just as I'm looking at my chart here, Sambaza, Netherlands and Germany were not on the same side as Argentina. So the side that Germany and the Netherlands were on, Argentina was on a different side. So, Argentina was on the same side as Cote d'Ivoire, DRC, Egypt, Algeria, Ghana, Colombia, Australia. Whereas Germany was on the same side as France, Netherlands, Spain, teams with higher rankings. So they weren't on the same side. So I don't know how that would have played out for them, but still, an upset is an upset. I don't think anyone expected Germany or the Netherlands to be knocked out as soon as they were. Please take pictures of your neighbor. Sambaza saying, my neighbor has the last few flags hanging on his fence, and I will take the pictures for the internet. I've left my flags up, and there are some flags even further up than that. I just always aim this a little bit further down so I don't look too distorted, but I've left all my flags up. I'm not ready to take them down yet. I will take them down begrudgingly at the end of the month, at the end of this tournament. But I'm ready, as I'll ever be, for more games. It was a weird day with no games today. Nobody was playing today, and I was definitely checking out all of the controversy and the backlash, and all the delusion that some people have about Argentina. Are they ever going to beat the allegations? It remains to be seen. Egypt was robbed. That's all I've got for today. That's all I have got for today. Would love to hear some predictions. I'll give you some of my predictions. France, Morocco. Well, I will give you this prediction. I think Morocco can beat France for sure. Do I think that Morocco will be allowed to beat France? I don't know. Especially with Olise having that yellow card. That Macron could not get that overturned. What's going on there? Spain is going to play Belgium. I think Belgium could do it. I just don't want to root for Spain. I'm kind of past that phase in my life. I'm sorry to the Spaniards who may be tuning in to this later. Norway is going to play England. I don't know. What do we think now? Norway, England. I think England could take it. I think England could take it. Argentina, Switzerland. Come on now. I've heard Switzerland's been playing really well, solid, consistent, disciplined, focused. So we'll see what the refs allow to happen. We'll see what FIFA wants to happen. I don't know. We'll see. Sambaza, France, Morocco is a pickup game. Are we sure? Why is it a pickup game? You're going for Spain over Belgium. All right. I mean, Spain could beat Belgium. I don't want them to, but I think they could. They're good. They're a good team. I'm over it. I'm over rooting for Spain. I'm sorry. England over Norway. It could happen. It could happen. It could happen. And what about the last one? Switzerland could pull an upset on Argentina. They could, just like Cabo Verde and just like Egypt. I mean, I'm gonna be Swiss for that game. I will be Swiss, and I don't mean I'll be neutral in that context for the first time in my life. I will be Swiss for that one. To my Argentine, I'm not, again, if you're Argentine, I'm not talking to you. This is not personal. This has nothing to do with you. All right, I like your predictions, Sambaza. We'll see. We'll see what the refs allow. What do you mean France-Morocco is a pickup game? Explain that to me before I end this, because I'm already 10 minutes 10 minutes over. Morocco players are French players if you look at it that way. Is that like saying how people were saying that French players are African players? This is what's interesting about World Cup, is that there's so many cultural crisscross moments that we're learning, and we're all learning about each other's cultures. We're seeing cultural influences in one country from another country, similar styles of play. We're seeing a lot of this cultural interaction, and football tells us so much about culture in the first place. So this is, things like that are really important. I'm sure my Argentine friend will have something to say. She might, but like I said, I'm not talking to her. She can root for Argentina, and she should. And anybody who's from Argentina should root for Argentina. And if you're not, then root for somebody else. French players can play for France and vice versa, so no different. Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I understand. So yeah, and I feel the same. Just to clear the air too, I feel the same about the USA. Like, why would you root for the USA if you don't live in the USA? It's just not a team that you root for. And somebody tried to call me out yesterday because I said, I've never been like the biggest fan of the USA, the men's national team, but I always want them to do well. I always wish them well. I want them to play well, but I've never heard anybody outside of the US like rooting for the US men's national team. It's just not a team that has that kind of appeal, I think. And I feel like people from all over the world root for Brazil or Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire or France or whatever. But some teams just don't have that kind of appeal. And that's okay. It's not me saying I hate that team. I don't hate any team. I don't hate anybody. But oh yeah, I need to interview him and hear his opinions. I don't think he would want to hear my opinions. And it's okay. And I think that I saw something that he posted, and it's like I don't expect like anybody who's a fan or anybody who's from there to say, oh, that was completely fair, or that was the right call, or whatever. Why would you? It like, there's no reason to do that. Of course, you have to support your team because that is your team. You're not going to go against your team to support, like, the US, or to support Belgium or England or Mexico or whoever. So, I mean, whatever. And it is what it is. No hate from me. No hate on my end whatsoever. It's football. Anyway, this is the longest live I've done for World Cup. So I'm going to wrap this up. and get out of this really hot closet. Thank you so much, Sambaza, for joining me. I'm so happy to hear your predictions. Let's take note of them so we can see how they play out. For everybody else who's watching this on the replay, please share your predictions in the comments. Let us know what you think. Would love to start a conversation, or if you want to just chat with me, or if you want to cuss me out because I said Egypt was robbed, go for it. But the games are restarting again soon, and I hope you enjoy this day of no football. And I sometimes a break is necessary. It's tough, but it's necessary. But I hope that you'll enjoy the next 7 games. We got 7 games to go. I hope you'll enjoy it. Everybody take care of yourself. Be kind. Don't fight with people on the internet. And I'll see you next time.